Hello, I am Sahar Rahman from the Department of English, Patna Women's College. Today, I would like to talk about the concept of Orientalism in post-colonial studies. In this talk, I would discuss the following questions. What is Orientalism? Who theorized it? What does the introduction to Orientalism say? And finally, we would discuss Orientalism as a discourse. To begin with, I take up the first two questions. What is Orientalism and who theorized it? Orientalism is a critical and theoretical concept given by Edward Said in his book Orientalism, which was published in 1978. Orientalism signifies Western doctrines and theses about the Orient or the East. East, that is the East of Europe. The Orient has been constructed as the other of Europe in Western imagination. In the introduction to Orientalism, Said explains that his purpose in writing the book was to describe how the concept of Orientalism was constructed historically and how did it serve the imperialist agenda of the colonizers like the French, the British and later the US. Said also deals with the construction of Orientalism today. Taking up the third and the fourth questions, what does the introduction to Orientalism say? And finally, how is Orientalism a discourse? Edward Said focuses and describes the framework for the creation and perpetuation of the concept of Orientalism in his introduction. Said begins by defining Orientalism within three different contexts. Number one, academic Orientalism, which refers to the act of studying or engaging with the Orient. Number two, the cultural view, according to which Orientalism is a way of thinking about the Orient when it is contrasted with the Occident or the West. Finally, Said uses Michel Foucault's concept of discourse to understand Orientalism and its operation. Orientalism is precisely, I quote, Western style for dominating, restructuring and having authority over the Orient, unquote. They are constructed as binaries and mutually exclusive categories. After defining Orientalism, Said spells out his thesis in his introduction and discusses the assumptions behind his work. He makes it clear that while the concept of Orientalism is constructed, the Orient itself is, in fact, a real location. Next, he argues that it is necessary to study the power dynamics between the Orient or the East and the Occident or the West in order to understand Orientalism. Orientalism, according to Said, is a construct and its consequences for the Orient are real. It is not easily subject to change because of the operation of hegemony, wherein, I quote, certain cultural forms predominate over others, unquote. Although Orientalism is not a political text, but it necessitates a discussion of politics because it is both a cultural and political construct. Said specifies his area of study and limits it to the Middle East, and for the vast literature that exists on the Orient, he has confined his work to study how Orientalism has been shaped by the French, the British and the Americans. Now, to conclude, Said's Orientalism is a discourse, not a simple idea, not a question of misrepresentation or propaganda, and it cannot be understood without understanding the Foucauldian discourse. Thank you.